This episode, we talk about Room for Ruby. I'm Victor Frost, and this is Steven Universe Universe. Alright, I'll admit I was a pinch disappointed in this episode, mostly because I thought we'd get to see Garnet defused again. But instead, we got something a fair sight more interesting. To find out what, we first need to hit the play-by-play. We start with Garnet and Steven wishing on shooting stars. Garnet cheats and Steven calls her on it, though he sends her mixed signals. She's totally sweet about it though. Next thing you know, it's Navy, and having mastered the art of the dynamic entry, she wants to live on Earth? Garnet is pensive, but Steven is Steven and wins her over through the power of backstory. So, off they go to the farm. When Lapidoth finds out, Perry is immediately totally down, but Lapis seems to have recovered from her time holding the stupid ball and is justifiably skeptical, immediately raising several legitimate concerns. But Peridot decides that they can mentor the new Ruby, and so they do. Things go well. Really well. Crazy well. Lapis is left wondering if there's something wrong with not Navy, but with her. Turns out, nope, Navy is pure evil. It was all a charade. And for Lapis, vindication, though at the price of one spaceship, never felt so sweet. So, one of the things I like the most about this show is that, for a lack of a less anachronistic turn of phrase, they like to keep it real. Problems aren't resolved in a snap. Feelings have inertia. Things matter to people. It's all well and good to say that people can solve their differences and bury the hatchet, but if the situation ever arises to use said hatchet again, most people can remember exactly where they buried it. See Pearl and Greg for most of the show. The characters in this show can be generous and caring and patient, but they can also be selfish and despondent and short-tempered. This is great. This is how real people act. So when someone in the show doesn't act like that, well, it's weird, to say the least, at least to me. And apparently to Lapis as well. But why? Well, the principal issue here at play is that Navy is just way too eager a beaver in terms of loving the Earth, and it's kinda setting Lapis off. After all, it took Peridot more than a month to decide Earth was worth protecting, and even then betraying Yellow Diamond set her kinda catatonic for a while. Lapis took a while too, and she only got through it because she had a friend in Steven. Change takes time and effort, and it can be rough, but there is none of that for Navy. It's like she just simply flipped a switch, and that was it. And that's what's bothering Lapis. In doing anything, we are our own benchmark for things until someone else comes along for us to benchmark against. Now, fundamentally, we learn what is and isn't normal by comparing ourselves to others and seeing where we place among them. Are we exceptional, average, or under par in the various aspects of ourselves? Think of it like you're playing a racing game. You're playing single player and totally killing it. None of the AI racers can touch you even on the highest difficulty level with all of the assists turned off. Time and time again, you set the fastest times by a wide margin. Based on your only means of comparison, the AI racers, you are a racing god. And then you start playing online and you are stomped every single time. Only rarely do you make it out of the bottom three, and you never make it to podium. Turns out, while you may be amazing compared to the AIs, you are a novice compared to those who play online. That's gonna sting. If you've ever played an online game and were totally rocking, only for someone to start yelling, "OMG, hacks!" you just set a new benchmark for someone, but they rejected it to protect their ego. The frustration Lapis felt throughout the episode came not from Navy adjusting so quickly, even if it was a farce, but because by comparison, she took so much longer and in fact is still not fully there. Recognizing the disparity between them, Lapis began rejecting it and grew suspicious. So she tried testing Navy.
Well, what about pumpkin? Do you love pumpkin too? Well, what about dirt? Do you love the dirt too? So, what about us? How do you feel about us?
After Navy passed all the tests and to all outward appearances truly did love the Earth as quickly as she seemed, Lapis's conclusion was inescapable. If she could get used to Earth and love it so fast and I couldn't, something must be wrong with me. Of course, we know that wasn't the case, and once Navy revealed her true nature, Lapis was vindicated. But even though I was suspicious of Navy too, I gotta agree with Garnet's final line in the episode. It was worth a shot. All the same, remember kids, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Not every villain wears a cape and twirls a mustache, and it's perfectly healthy to be suspicious of people who've been hostile to you in the past. Now, however, it's time for us to take a look at all the little crumbs of lore and jokes and inconsistencies sprinkled throughout the episode. You guessed it, it's time for the bits. Garnet's face looks like a cat that's just eaten a canary, and Steven nails her for it. New best Garnet face. Technically correct, the best kind of correct. Okay, Charlene, for this line, we really want you to ham it up, really over the top, okay? Okay.
Well, back again. You should just move in with us at this point.
Actually, maybe not me, but I know someone else who might be interested.
Hi, I'm Navy, a refugee from Homeworld, just like you guys.
Yeah, that was solid. Lapis is once again the realist. That's really nice of Peridot, actually. Knowing what we know now, it's pretty evident that Navy was just doing and saying what she thought all of them wanted to see and hear, and was really just playing stupid the entire time. Now we know she's just a sarcastic little bugger. Lapis, like Peridot, didn't know what rain was. They are two different eras of Gem, which means that when gems terraform planets, weather no longer happens. Wet hair Peridot looks about 20% cooler. Navy knows what crying is. It's a bed you fall out of. Why would gems snore? Snoring implies unconscious breathing. Do gems breathe usually? The animators really did a bang-up job on all of Lapis's expressions in this episode. This face pisses me off for some reason. I don't know why. Who wouldn't love Pumpkin, you little freak of nature?
That's the one thing I can't do.
Oh, come on!
She said what I was thinking. Peridot's powers are awesome now. Both Lapis and Peridot's hairs do some really strange things in this episode. Behold the face of evil, complete with Ojo-sama laugh. Hold up, Navy came into re-entry screaming. She couldn't have known where she was going to end up. That means in the span of her landing and lunging at Garnet and Steven, she recognized where she was, who they were, realized that she couldn't fight them, that they had her ship, and that the best way to get the ship was by pretending to be a defector. That is insanely smart. Holy crap. But wait, doesn't that mean she probably saw right through the whole baseball charade? And was just playing along the whole time? To what end? For entertainment? At the rest of the Ruby's expense? That's psychopathic. Ugh. Lapis eschews the opportunity to try and catch Navy for a nice cathartic laugh, and the best line in the episode. Maybe even the last few. And that's what we learned this time on Steven Universe. It looks like we're on hiatus again, so in the meantime, stay tuned for more episodes of Victor Plays Undertale. And with any luck, some behind the screen and some new stuff. How have these past few episodes looked, by the way? I recently made the switch to Adobe Premiere, and I'm wondering if y'all noticed the difference or not. Learning Premiere was a bit of a struggle, but getting Creative Cloud was actually kind of thanks to you guys, because when fans like you become Patreon supporters, it lets me budget for nice things like non-pirated software and equipment upgrades. So if you really like this and my other shows, consider becoming a patron today. Link in the doobly-doo and up there. But that's all for me. If you like the show, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. In the meanwhile, I'm Victor Frost, and I'll see you next time on Steven Universe Universe.
Garnet, it worked! Is that Star